What's up? Welcome to another video. I'm basically going to be talking about how the weakness and tension in many areas of my life right now is God exposing what needs to be healed. Um, there, like I said, there's many areas in my life that I've been struggling with and contending with and asking God to heal me in certain and specific parts of my life. And after I prayed that and prayed for healing, just tension and difficulty have risen. And he's making it clear to me that he's exposing all of that. He's making me face what's in the way of my prayers being fulfilled. Not to harm me, but to heal me, to make me stronger, and to go deeper with him. And for example, I'll do another video on this talking about my anxiety and how that started. But ever since I've really struggled with anxiety, I've always had this tension in my chest that hasn't gone away since, and it's been a year and a half since it's really started. And I've always asked God, like please heal the tension in my chest, you know, and but it's kind of hard to heal when I'm operating in ways that make my chest tense. But so basically, like what I'm praying to God for, He's giving me opportunities to heal, and those opportunities look like pain and hardship and tension and struggles to expose what still needs to be healed, right? God could 100% heal my chest right now, heal these areas that I'm praying for. Like, I can't be operating in these ways of thinking because that's what's making my chest tense. I cannot be operating in these ways of living, right? He's not trying to harm me, he's trying to help me by exposing these things deeper so that healing can finally take place, right? Acknowledging, the tension in my chest is from stress and worry and anxiety, right? And healing isn't by ignoring the worry, the fear, and the stress and anxiety, but it's facing the very things that's making my chest tense, that's making that anxiety and fear and stress build up in my life and making me feel physical pain. Some things making my chest tense, not everything, but some things, is trying to be good at everything as soon as possible and trying to feel good enough in all that I'm doing and trying to prove to myself that I'm smart and capable in everything and rushing everything and comparing my wisdom to other people's wisdom. It's just I put a lot of pressure on myself that God never intends. That God never I put so much pressure on myself that God doesn't even put that pressure on me. So why why am I? And I've been looking at myself a lot. And sometimes when we tend to look at ourselves a lot, we lose sight of God, and then just it then that makes the worry and the anxiety and the stress greater because if we're looking at ourselves, we are therefore leaning on our own ability, which is something that, like, we're never able to do. It's not our ability that gets us through every day, it's God's. So I've been looking at myself, trying to find my ability, but my ability is only found by completely looking at Jesus. Like, to be honest with you, the things that he's called me to do in my life, he is the reason why he put me there. And if I'm looking at my own ability, I'm going to crumble and crush under the pressure because I didn't put myself there. But he did with his ability that he gave me. So if I'm operating and looking in within myself, then I'm gonna get crushed. But this doesn't mean to deny myself and the parts of me that God blessed me with to use, right? He blessed me with, he partners with me in this life, and he's given me attributes and qualities and gifts, according to his purpose and to use, of course, in my daily life. But it's just not looking at myself and relying upon myself to make things happen, which I've been doing. My flesh has been doing so much because I don't see God moving like how I want him to. And so I'm trying to do it on my own, and that's just not it. And that comes with the verse that I keep repeating is, be still and know that he's God, because I can't be operating on my own and in my own ability. And that's making my chest tense. and just all the stress in my life and me rushing and being stuck in this fight or flight mode, right? And that's what God is exposing in me, all these parts, because he's like, all right, I'm gonna expose these parts that are making your chest tense, that are making you spiral, that are making you stuck in fight or flight mode. And that's where true healing is gonna happen, because I'm gonna show you the way out. And that's why when we're dealing with tension and weakness and and struggles, that's where the breakthrough comes, right? So if you asked God for healing in your life, in a specific area in your life, or many specific areas in your life, and you're faced with difficulty and pain and struggle, right? The opposite of what you're praying for, and you're asking God, I've asked for this, I asked for healing in this area of my life, but you're giving me more difficulty. I'm faced with more difficulty, and why, But he's in that difficulty. He's showing you what needs to be healed, right? He's showing us the parts that he wants to heal and to fix. And plus, God isn't just going to heal us like that, like we want him to. But there's no faith, there's no growth, there's no strength, there's no endurance happening when it just happens magically. He is so for us. And so everything that he does and places in our life is for us, even if it doesn't seem like it. It is. So I could be looking at my problems and being like, God, I've asked you to heal my chest. So why am I faced with all of this striving and trying and tension? But God's like, those are things that are real in your life and that need to be healed in order for you to be healed from your tense chest, right? Like, you are asking for your chest to be healed, for your stress and your worry and anxiety to be limited, like, to come down. But you're operating in ways that are making your chest tense and making your anxiety and worry and stress levels go up. Right? He has to heal us at the root of the issue. And the way that I live my life is I like to have my life lined out perfectly like a note sheet. I want my problems to be like files. Like I got all my issues perfectly sorted out and individually organized. So when I feel all over the place and scattered, I get overwhelmed. Okay, I just read you one of my notes, and I don't know why I think this way. Like, I've always got compliments when I grew up, like when I was in school, like how I was always so organized and stuff, which, yes, that's a good thing. but it has become a thing that is working against me, because I'm dealing with different struggles, like literally everywhere in my life right now, and I feel like I feel like I can't focus. Like, what I really want to do is focus on one issue and then get that over with, and then go on to the next and the next and the next, right? Like a perfectly, like a check, like a list, right? Like a organized list. But it's not like that. I'm literally going about each day and just faced with many struggles in my life, not in just one area, right? Many areas, and I feel overwhelmed. And that also is a mindset that makes me live in fight or flight mode, and right, and has this stress and tension in my chest, and in many areas of in my body. And it's causing me not to effectively operate in a way that I would like. And I'm like, I wrote down, I'm being pulled for healing in a lot of areas of my life. And I feel like being in fight or flight mode causes me to have a hard time focusing on multiple problems and multiple things at once. And maybe God isn't asking me to work on fixing all of these problems, but having all these problems arise at once gives me an opportunity to look at Him and be like, God, you've got it. Right? God will put us in situations where we have to rely on Him. Because if we're not relying on Him, then we don't need Him, and then we begin to live in our own ways again, which ultimately hurt us. And so that's why I say, like, God is for us, because He knows what hurts us. When we think, we're like, no, that's not going to hurt me. Yeah, it is. It's going to hurt you. I want to say this again. God makes you face what's in the way of your prayers being fulfilled. He makes us face it. He's making me face the mindset that I keep indulging in. He's making me face the ways of living, the ways of thinking that are ultimately leading me to spiraling, that are pleasing Satan. Not to harm me, but to heal me, to make me stronger, to fall in love with Jesus deeper. I was reading back on my notes from a while ago, like a year ago, and it said, God is bringing the kingdom of darkness to its knees in your life through your suffering. Through the pain and the tension that I'm feeling right now, and the weakness and the struggle. That's where the kingdom of darkness falls to its knees. Right when we think the kingdom of darkness is prevailing. No, that's when it's falling to its knees. Through our suffering. Because through our suffering is a gateway for healing. Satan wants us to think. He wants us to be like, all right, look at that. You prayed to God for healing, and now He's giving you difficulty. You see that God is not for you. But in reality, and then some people give up on God because it's too hard. But that's where God is leading you to breakthrough, is through that struggle. That's why it's so important to quiet our minds and focus on God, because we can get so caught up in what the enemy is saying, and what he's saying is not good at all, and He's not for us. But his lies, man, are so conveying. But that's why we have to be careful what we look at. We have to be careful of what we listen to and who we listen to. Like, that's why I am cautious about the music I listen to. I am cautious about the way that I speak. I'm cautious about what and who I listen to. I'm cautious about everything that I'm doing because Satan is just, he's ready for me to open a door in my life to let him in any way that he possibly can. He is watching me. He is watching you so very closely for you to even just crack a door open so he can just bolt right through to your life and just feed you lies after lies after lies. These things that God is exposing in me, all the tension, all the worry, all the mindset and all the ways that I'm thinking, he's exposing that in me because I'm literally opening a door for the enemy to come into my life and just be like, yo, you can say whatever you want and I'll believe you. Right? The enemy is so smart. He really is. And he can turn a good thing into bad. He can just twist it so slightly for it to become a lie and become a way that is not intended by God. Like, dude, our feeds, music, movies, anything, the devil can just slip right through without us knowing. Yeah, people may say that I live a boring life because I don't relate to the movies that they watch. I can't quote them like they can. I don't listen to the music that they listen to. I don't know those songs. I can't sing along with them. I don't talk the way they do. And I'm not saying these things to be like, oh, I'm better than you. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that I just don't indulge in those things because the enemy can get me so easily through that. There was many struggles that I've struggled with in my life is because I let the enemy in by indulging in those things. And then when I tell people that I don't indulge in those things and watch those movies and listen to that music, oh, you think you're a goody-goody? No, I don't think I'm a goody-goody. Like, no, dude, if I'm indulging in those things, if I'm watching those movies, if I'm listening to the music that you listen to, I'm a completely different person. I'm a person that I absolutely hate. And I will not become that person ever again. Just because I wanted to watch a movie. I will not become that person again. I will not. I'd rather live the rest of my life completely alone with nobody than to ever live that way again. Being stuck in thought patterns that literally caused me to be a bad person. Another thing I like to do is strive for perfection. That is something I will never achieve until the day I get to heaven. The tension, the struggles, the weakness in our lives, lean into them. Lean into them. Don't try to ignore them or push them away, but realize that is the Lord is showing you the way to healing by those things coming into your life and being like, all right, Lord, I have all these difficulties and worries and struggles upon me. Show me how you are going to heal me in this, right? You ask him to show you and to do it, right? Don't expect God to heal you just like that. He might, but don't expect it because you are going to be disappointed. Honestly, expect the hard to come. One thing I asked God for in my life is to help me to forgive the ones who've hurt me. And I tell you, he definitely showed me the path to that healing. And it was so hard and uncomfortable. I'm acting like it's past tense. I'm still struggling through it. But that's where fruit is produced. That's where it all is. All the good things is produced, is within the weakness and the hurt and the tension and the struggles. Don't ignore them. Don't ignore them. Lean into them. I know people can argue with me on this by not looking at yourself but looking at God. There's many things that you can argue with me with that, probably. But I know that when I'm looking at myself, that's where trouble happens. 'Cause I don't know. My understanding is so limited compared to God's. My ability is so limited compared to God's. My strength is so limited compared to God's. My endurance, my peace, my patience, my kindness, my joy, my love is so small compared to God's. So why would I look to myself for help when God knows exactly what I need? Anyways, that's kind of wrapping up this video.